Welcome everyone to Romance Book Monsters. It's your girl Lollipop with my co-host Kitty Boom.
Welcome everyone. Again, I'm Kitty Boom.
Today we're doing our very first book review for our new channel, Romance Book Monsters. Please like and subscribe. It'll be Hot and Badgered by Shelley Lawrenston. So this book is also part of the Honey Badgers trilogy. It is the very first book, but it is loosely tied to a previous series by her. So you will see characters, but they're not necessarily an integral part of this series. So if you've read her previous Shifters books, yay, you're going to see some of your favorite characters. If you have not, it's still okay. So I'm going to kick it off to Kitty Boom to go over and give you guys a little bit of the summary of the book before we dive into the review.
Hi, so I'm just going to read you just a book jacket summary of the book that's listed with it. So again, the book is Hot and Badgered. It's by Shelley Lawrenston. It's a part of a bigger series, but it's kind of like a trilogy within the longer series, but it's definitely can be a standalone read. Okay, book description. It's not every day that a beautiful naked woman falls out of the sky and lands face first on Grizzly Shifter Berg Dunn's hotel balcony. Definitely, they don't usually hop up and demand his best gun. Berg gives the lady a grizzly-sized t-shirt and his cell phone too, just on style points, and then she's gone, taking his extra, extra, extra large heart with her. By the time he figures out she's a honey badger shifter, it's too late. Honey badgers are survivors, brutal, vicious, ill-tempered survivors. Or maybe Charlie Taylor Killigan is just pissed at her useless father trying to get them all killed again and won't even tell her how. Protecting her little sisters has always been her job, and she's not about to let some pesky giant grizzly protection specialist with a network of every shifter in Manhattan get in her way. Wait, he's trying to help? Why would he want to do that? He's cute enough that she just might let him tag along. That is, if he can keep up.
I know that's
It definitely sounds good. I know I enjoyed the book.
I love this book, but I love this author. And unlike you, I like Dragon Shifters. So I read her other pseudonym too, with Dragon Shifters.
Yeah, I love Shelley Lawrenston, but that series does not exist for me.
It's all good. It's all good. It happens to us all. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say spoiler alert. We're going to spoil the book. If you haven't read the book, don't watch this review. Unless
spoil the book. Yes,
definitely. Unless spoilers don't bother you, then you're fine. But just want to go ahead and let you know we're going to talk about this book because I loved it. I loved it. All right, so how we're gonna deal with this is we're gonna talk about a little bit about our favorite scenes, if we have any least favorite parts of the book, give you guys an overall rating on our very, very subjective scale. And also, definitely want to share more from this particular author. If you're into shifters, if you're into comedy, her books are hilarious. You will chuckle out loud to yourself, and people might be like, what is she reading, because I need to get on it. But I can go first, Kitty Boomer, unless you want to go first.
You can go ahead, keep it going.
all right. So as Kitty Boom talked a little bit about in the jacket summary, how they met is really one of my favorite parts of the story. Definitely her jumping out of her hotel room because she was being attacked, landing on his balcony, going through his hotel room, him being shot, she being shot at. He's a bodyguard, so he was protecting a client, and the client is a jackal, so he was all up in the business trying to see what's going on. And I'm like, dude, do you want to die? Do you want your sister to kill you? Why are you all up in this? You need to stay where your bodyguard put you. But it was just really interesting. Obviously, she escaped. She took out who was after her, and then them meeting again by happenstance was also hilarious. who knew that they were going to meet again. So, especially since they didn't share any contact information, don't know each other's names. She wasn't wearing her glasses, so he looked like a blob. Like, let's talk about that. Like, she couldn't smell him because she has allergies. Let's talk about how their father passed on some jacked up genes. She's a hybrid. Charlie is a hybrid. She's a wolf honey badger. And her father's jacked up genes got her wearing glasses and having allergies and can't smell stuff. And sense of smell is huge for a shifter. Can you imagine having to take shifter quality allergy meds? Like, come on now.
And don't forget, she can't shift.
Oh, yeah. And she can't shift it. She can partially shift. So she can get the teeth and the claws. So she can do partials. But you know what? She's so strong. She don't even need to fully shift. Because if she backhand you, you going down. There is no, oh, let me get back up and join this fight. Like, you down for the count. She will fight you. She will do anything for her younger sisters. Anything. She will not. And also, I mean, she had to. She had them trained because them girls is crazy too. Like, all she had to do was snap her fingers or clap her hand, and they started acting right. People looking around like, how do you control these two? Easy. Brutal training from young. So that's like my first one. You want to talk about one of your favorite scenes?
Yes, actually, I think one of my most favorite scenes like picks up right after your most favorite scenes. It's when Charlie and the middle sister Max go to break out the youngest sister out of the mental hospital. So the third sister, she's like a genius, and she's kind of crazy. She has all these stresses and anxieties, and she keeps checking herself into these high-end like mental clinics. So they go to what was it, Switzerland?
Yeah, it was Switzerland. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they go to Switzerland to break her out, to get her out of the mental hospital. But the doctors think that her sisters are a part of the problem, so they refuse to let the sisters in. So she's in a meeting with the doctor, and the doctor just, mentions, oh, your sisters were here, but we told them you're not ready. And she's like, what? My sisters came for me? And it was so crazy. So she goes into this little mental breakdown where she beats up the doctor and then races to find her sisters. She's like, they wouldn't leave me. And so they're running away from the mental hospital with the younger sister, and this big helicopter with guns come down, and they attack the helicopter and get away, and then they steal a car. It was just it's like the action scene of the whole book. Well, not the whole book. It's the first big action scene. So that was definitely my favorite scene, the breakdown in the mental hospital.
I mean, the crazy thing is you could totally picture this as a blockbuster. Like, you could totally picture it.
She is definitely an author that could have a movie.
This book would be a great movie.
It would be a hilarious, great movie.
It follows the cycle of a blockbuster. Good first one, the good first act. Second act is great. The third act fight sequence is there. I mean,
there's a romance,
comedy, laughs,
family conflict. You got the crazy daddy,
right? Crazy family relationships. So my next favorite scene, because there's so many. Let's just be real. There's a bunch of really good parts, scenes of this book. We could talk about this for days, but I had to narrow it down to 3 because we didn't want a 5-hour long video on this
all day long. Yes.
So my next favorite scene is one of the big fight scenes. This is where Charlie lets us know that she is a badass. Charlie did not come to play. All right. So I'm gonna play the move for you. So the 3 sisters and the bears are in, this subterranean, underground, special beer shifter kind of stadium. It's a stadium under the stadium where only shifters are allowed. They do a sniff test. If you don't smell like an animal, you ain't getting down. Or you're a human with an animal or shifter, you ain't getting down there. So they pass the sniff test. They down there. They have their own Starbucks. They have this, that, and the third. Now, mind you, so Charlie goes in the Starbucks line to go get her some coffee. Well, Charlie had been shot a couple times. You know what I'm saying? In the back. So she's just waiting. You know, one of her powers is, you know, she can heal herself. So she's sitting there waiting, chilling, for while she's waiting to get her coffee, while these bullets is being pushed out of her back by her body. They're being expelled. Now, a shifter doctor gets in line behind her, and she like, I smell blood. Charlie, being the hilarious person that she is, she's like, I'm on my period. Doctor like, I know what period blood smell like, and that ain't it. So I'm like, well, okay then. She's like, I'm a doctor. Come to my shop and I will, you know, get these bullets out. Charlie like, nah, we good. She's like, nah, you gotta come. Okay, fine, I'll go. Right? Charlie's like, fine, I'll go. Whatever's. I'm not doing anything anyway. So she goes and the doctor is like, oh my God, it's pushing itself out on its own. So they sitting there watching. And just like, ooh, this is great. And Charlie's sitting there reading an old Vogue like, come on now, can we get to it? Can we get to it? I got things to do. Let these bullets get out. Anyway, so the bullets come out and, you know, the group, which is the kind of like the shifter commandos that take care of shifter things that's happening in the world, right? That's who the group is, especially in the US. Like, it's a bunch of different types of shifters, and I call them commandos because that's really what they are. They send in the friend, right? The friend of the sister, the middle sister, Max. Friend goes in, and they're like, you know, oh, you know, I'm trying to get y'all a job. That's why they was watching y'all. That's why they was coming for y'all. And she like, you traitor. I don't know who these people are. I don't want to work with these people. Why would you do it? She beat his behind. She beat him like he stole from her. She didn't like him from jump anyway. So she didn't need an excuse to beat his behind. But boy, did she slap him around like he took like her favorite. Her man. Like he took her man, she beat him by. Yes, she did. And then she go out there, she holding this man up with one hand by his neck. And Deanne from the group and Celia from the Cat Nation, which is, you know, the cat version of the group because they don't necessarily play well with others. Deanne had the nerve to tell her, oh, put him down before I get testy. Charlie, who don't know who this Deanne is, and quite frankly don't care and ain't afraid of her, turned around and was like, basically, you can get it too. Well, Deanne thought that she was just going to show up and do her thing like she normally do. Everybody afraid of, oh, she a Smith. She the crazy Smith. She the crazy Smith, right? They afraid of her. Well, that's not what happened. What happened is she beat her behind and then broke her arm on principle. And then she beat Celia's behind because she tried to help Deanne. The only thing that kept them from beating them some more was because, what's his name? Bird? I can never remember these triplets' names. The main hero of the story, the main squeeze, Deanne's man was like, I can't find your sister. And she's like, okay. And then she's like, wait 1 minute. And she went back in to get her sneaker because what? She beat all these people's behind with one shoe on. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. One shoe. Beat all they behinds.
And nobody messes with Deanne Smith.
Nobody messes with Deanne Smith. I love that scene. My favorite scene. I've read that scene many times. Matter of fact, I think the first time I read that book, I read that scene twice because I was like, did I miss anything? Let me reread this to see if I missed anything going on, because there was a lot going on. And I loved it. Now go ahead, Kitty. Go ahead with your next.
Yeah, my next favorite scene is when, okay, so we definitely see that they're on the run. And we failed to mention that, you know, the sisters kind of take on the the racial and shifter dominant of the mother. So whereas the father white, the father is a Caucasian honey badger.
Uh-huh.
But Charlie, the main character, the main female character of the book, her dominant traits are an African American wolf. And then the middle sister is a Chinese slash Polish honey badger. And then the youngest sister is a
Tiger.
Caucasian
Tiger honey badger. She's tiger and honey badger.
honey badger. And the reason why I have to mention this is, okay, so now they have to go into hiding. And so Berg, who is a bear shifter, he takes them to bear country to rent a house to stay in so they can hide away from whoever is trying to find them. Now, honey badgers love honey, as do bears. So the bears who's renting them the house, he doesn't want to rent to them because he doesn't want them raiding the beehives of the other bears in the neighborhood. So he was like, I can't rent to your kind. The sister took it as, oh, you're being racist towards my black sister, and that's why you won't rent to her. So Stevie is like hiding in a tree because she's terrified of bears. She thinks that they will eat her. So she comes down and she's like, no, sir, I will not bear the guilt of your white privilege and your white racism against my sister. I will not assist you in being part of it. And it was just like such a hilarious scene. And then, Charlie, like, she loves baking. She's all stressed out. So she starts baking. No, not in this scene. She doesn't start baking. In this scene, she starts cleaning the whole house. And Berg is like, I told you I would come help you. And his sister's like, but nobody can do it right with you. But it's a small scene, but it was just like so hilarious. The way hysterical Stevie is like, no, I will not bear the mantle of your privilege.
Right. And don't forget, Tiny was like, it has nothing to do with your race. Right. It's because you're honey badgers.
And they proved him right. Well, Max proved him right, the middle sister, because she was always messing with other bears' honey stashes.
She was in them hives.
Bees and all.
Bees just at her. All right, so one of my many, but will be the last one for this video, favorite scene is when they had the barbecue at the house. So the sisters, in some kind of way, ended up having this barbecue. It was great. Oh, yes, play the scene. Now, the guy who's friend with Max that she beat up is a Wolverine. And his sisters did not appreciate her beating him up. So they come to jump Max. I mean, not Max, sorry. They come to jump Charlie. And Charlie is like, nah, this is what we not gonna do. Now, she didn't like fight them because she didn't want to like destroy them. So she let them have they 1-2 punch in or whatever, and was like, fine, whatever. Berg comes over. He's like, what's going on? Trying to like mediate the situation. And they decide that they're going to have a barbecue. And then they invited the Wolverine girls. They, invited the whole neighborhood. All the bears done showed up, jumping in the pool, eating the food. They grilling on multiple grills. You know what I'm saying? We have people from other places, Charlie inside, baking it up and putting the stuff out. And people just grabbing it up, fighting over it. Let's not forget 2 grown men got into a fight over a pie, which led a woman to come sneak in and grab the pie while the men were fighting. Let's not forget that. Yes, she did. She came and was like, y'all stupid. Let me take this right here. We good. And so she took the pie. But anyway, so my favorite part is when Mitch shows up, who's from a previous series in maybe like 8-10 books ago. I can't remember exactly where Mitch and Sissy May's story falls in the other series of the Shifter books, but they come because they're friends with the Wolverine. And so they show up, and Sissy May introduces herself to Charlie, and she's like, yeah, I'm Sissy May Smith from the Smith Wolves, and da 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 da. And Charlie's like, a Smith? She's like, I kicked the Smith's ass real easy. And Sissy May was like, who? And Charlie was like, I think her name was Deanne. And Sissy May's look of shock and awe was everything. Because everybody afraid of Deanne. But not Charlie. Charlie will kick. Not the sisters, and actually any of the sisters. Like, ain't not one of them afraid of Deanne. Not Max, who is bold as brass. Max is so bold, she broke into Deanne's house. Just to say. And play with her daughter. She's like, oh, your kid is cute. Deanne, like, ready to kill everybody. But I thoroughly enjoyed that scene. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I'm gonna kick it back to Kitty. She could talk about what her last favorite scene is, and then we'll just wrap it up with, our ratings. I love this book. I love this author, but I
think my last most favorite scene was when they were in the hockey rink, and for some reason, Charlie was trying out for the hockey team, and she sees this agent, this lion agent, who used to represent Stevie, the middle sister.
Was it Charlie or was it Max?
Max first. Max sees him, and she takes off her skates, and she runs across the ice and up through the bleachers and jumps over the partition, and she just starts beating him. And then she brings out a knife, and Charlie runs in, and she's like, stop. But then once Charlie realizes who it was, and that the middle sister is like affected by him because he treated her badly.
The youngest sister.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then she goes, and she very calmly starts and beats on the lion, and then she like whispers to him, I bet you it was something like, I better not see you again. And here's Max in the background. I told him the next time that I saw him, if I ever saw him again, I would kill him.
I know that's right. Well, remember, Charlie knocked him out with one punch. He went down. He was no longer the king of the jungle. He went down for the count. One punch, that lion shifter was kissing the floor. Kissing the floor. But yeah, he almost got it. I told him
the next time I saw him, I'd kill him.
I know that's right, because he tried to abuse their baby sister, and he was going to got.
And I tell you, that is definitely one like good thing about Shelley Lawrence. Like, you are usually guaranteed a good read and a good laugh all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And some good fights too.
Very good fights, yes.
And she knows her weapons, because they be talking about some guns. Mm-hmm. These shifters will use guns, and they will use their hands, and I love it. You never know when you're gonna get some claws or some fists or some shots.
Right. Or a bomb.
Or yes, a bomb is good. I mean, the helicopter that was chasing them in the escape from the mental hospital scene had it had guns on it, so they were like, and
then Max had like a rocket launcher.
Max had a rocket. Yes, Max had that rocket launcher. She was in heaven. She was like, let me go get it out the truck. She loved her little rocket launcher. It was great. All right, so I know what I'm going to rate this book. So we're going to rate our books from a scale of 1 to 5. This particular book, as you can tell, I have read many times and has a dear place in my heart. Dear place. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. I love this book. I'd probably give it a 10 out of 5 if I could. This is one of my favorite books. I read it several times a year. This book is 3 years old now. 3 years old, so I've read it several times. It's maybe once or twice a year I bust it out. If I'm really in the mood, sometimes more than that. I love this book. What about you, Kitty? Let them know.
I definitely give this book a 5, and you're right. I might go and reread this book right now. Yeah, definitely a 5 in my book. Like the romance was good, the comedy was hilarious, the story was just very good.
And the crazy thing is, no matter how many times you read it, you
It's
laugh
like
at the same parts.
yes,
Even though you know what's going to happen. You
it's
still
like
laugh
that
at it.
really good funny movie that you just love, and yes, it's all hilarious still.
I know. But you know what? They would ruin the book if they made it in a movie. We'd just be mad. So let's make it in the movie in our hearts and
Let's put
minds.
us on a team. We'll be on the team. If it becomes a movie, we need to be advisors on it. Yes.
Or the author.
No.
I mean, can the author write the screenplay?
Sometimes even the author doesn't get it quite right when they're involved, and you're just like, yeah. So no, we'll be the advisors.
You're so funny. So we want to go ahead and say thank you for watching our very first book review here about Hot and Badgered.
Make sure you frozen.
I think you might have froze for a second there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All good in the hood. All good. Modern technology, right? So yes. as I was saying, thank you for listening to our very first book review here at Romance Book Monsters. If you like us, like our videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification button. And also, if you want us to review the next two books, so Max's story and Stevie's story, because Stevie's book is second and Max's book is the third book. If you want us to review those, definitely let us know in the comments so that we can add it to our read schedule. Because as we all know, romance novel is a very prolific genre, and there are books on top of books that come out every day. But we're more than happy. Hey, put some suggestions in there. If there's other books you want us to review, put that in there as well in our comments. But definitely let us know in the comments if you want us to review the next two books in the series. And this is Lollipop. And my girl, Kitty Boo. We are here. We love y'all. Definitely keep engaged, keep connected with us. And we will talk to you guys soon. Keep reading those romance novels because we need to keep this genre moving forward. Do you have anything you want to say, Kitty? Let them know.
Nope, just be on the lookout for our next video and come and join us for that one too.
All right, stay blessed.